Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are on this fine planet. This is Paul Raw back at you with another episode of the Hip Hop Corner or Raw Hip Hop Perspective. Excuse me, that's what it's called. I haven't done a video in a long time. Did a live stream yesterday with my man Somali against Pan-Africanism. But as always, let's start off with the obligatory fair use clause. I'm going to play a video from the Art of Dialogue. Hopefully he doesn't strike a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I like some of your work, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Still up in the air on your ethnic background. I saw a picture of you. You look like you could be half Black American, half Nigerian. But hey, man, more power to you, brother. Do your thing. But I would like to thank you for this little nugget, this gem for hip hop, And if you look at the title, it says finally somebody said the fucking real shit, dog. Finally. And it took a light-skinned bitch from Baltimore to do it. I think she's from Charlie Baltimore. She's from Baltimore. I think she's from that area. But bottom line is, it took a light-skinned bitch or biracial, whatever the fuck she wants to call herself, from fucking the DMV area to tell the fucking truth. That's why I used to love about my GMV people. They're sophisticated, but still down home and try to keep it to the root or to the roots. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, man, let's get into the video. This is going to be a short joint. This is for hip hop, baby. This is what this is about. You know what I'm saying? But let's play the video and I'm going to give my feedback on that shit later. Or I'll be right back, motherfuckers. Shit.
Was you around Big when he was recording Life After Death?
Well, he initially, when he was working on the album, is around the same time we had the car accident. So he wrote a lot. That album was not supposed to be a double album. It was only supposed to be a regular album. He wound up writing the second half of the album, most of it, while he was in the hospital, because he had nothing else to do. And not even a hospital at that point. I think he was in the rehab thing where you learn how to walk again, the physical rehab. And he had to stay there. It was like inpatient. So he wrote most of that second album there in the rehab. So technically, if you look at it from that angle, if he didn't have the car accident, there would be no double album. It would have just been a regular, regular album.
Okay. So that's why he made it a double disc. Because some people feel like, he only made it a double disc because Tupac made All Eyes on Me a double disc.
No, he was just fucking bored to death, like in the hospital, and basically wrote it in there. Like, you know what I mean? That was the only time I actually ever saw him write anything down, because he didn't write his rhymes. But because he was in the hospital, he was just writing it down. Yeah.
When it comes to the death of Biggie, right? Because I don't think I ever asked you this. How do you feel about his death? Do you have any thoughts on who's behind it?
Okay, we can stop there, dog. She gave us the nugget that we needed right there. I'm so happy she said this shit, because this whole, writing rhymes in your head shit has gone too fucking far. Of course, the main, proponent for this shit is Jay-Z. But even Irv Gotti stated that Jay-Z had to write Can I Live? Like, he had to write it down. You know what I'm saying? So Hov didn't always go off the head or write rhymes in his head. That shit is difficult, dog. People can do it as long as you're clear-minded. Okay? But nothing is better than structuring a rhyme on a piece of paper. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Because when you write, there's a science behind your eyes, your hand, and your mind working in unison to really fully develop that thought. But when you're going just using your mind and that's it. Yes, you can develop a thought, but it's not as refined as you using your mind, your hand, to write out the lyrics. It's like we all had to go to school and write term papers. When you write your term paper, you have to edit it. You have to go over your sources. You have to make sure everything's fluid. There's some continuity. And maybe you have to double back and rethink a sentence and rephrase it so it makes more sense. That's what writing does. And this whole not writing lyrics is what gave us Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne's good. He's good. You know, but he nigga, he does. It's like, it's good, but it doesn't stick to my ribs. It's fast food. It's not soul food. I can't say one song except for one song, Prostitute on Flang by Lil Wayne, that really like stuck with me. Other than that, it's a few other joints here and there, but a lot of them are just punchlines and quick phrases. Shit that doesn't really last in my mind. You get what I'm saying? But to get back to Biggie, because even though I said Jay-Z was a main proponent for, you know, not writing lyrics, it was Biggie who was the first one to really advertise it, at least not directly, but through people who watched him work. And this is well before his death. We would hear about it. I even had a homeboy who used to hang out with Big. I met Big, and it was in passing. I didn't know that nigga like that, so don't even run off like I'm clout chasing or name dropping. But my homeboy used to tell me that he used to write. He carried a little book, you know, a little memo book, you know, the little books you got as a kid with a spiral and it's real small, you put in your pocket. My homeboy said that Biggie used to, like, wherever he went, if he heard something funny, he'll write it down. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's how he got that whole line in the song where we all said, "Hey, Big, that's too much." He says some shit, "You look so good, I'll suck on your daddy's dick." He got that from Richard Pryor. So for all we know, Big could have been listening to a Richard Pryor album or a comedy set of Richard Pryor, a stand-up set, and he wrote that shit down and put it in rhyme. You get what I'm saying? So Biggie wrote, and I think I need to get into that too. I forgot which song, but Doggy Diamonds. Look up Doggy Diamonds on YouTube. Doggy Diamonds grew up with Biggie. He used to record with Biggie. He said Biggie did right. Biggie wrote down lyrics for when in the beginning and part of the time he was recording his first album. So Biggie did right. Jay-Z did right. So stop with this fucking, I'm a mastermind, I can fucking write a rhyme at the drop of a dime type shit. The shit is stupid. And you could hear it in the music. That's how we got mumble rap, which I'm not totally against because it's no different from scatting and jazz. But think about scatting and jazz, that was an add-on, an extra, you know? Now, the parts where they're going, hottie, 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 ho, like, I think that's Cab Calloway. That's a lyric. Hottie, 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 ho, that's an old call and response in the Black community. But when he goes into the biddy-bop, biddy-bop, that shit, that's scatting, okay? It was an add-on. But to get back to how we got mumble rap, is these motherfuckers could go in and go, and I can make out what they're saying a lot of times because my ear has been conditioned to try to understand almost every accent or dialect. I just do that shit. I was thinking about it the other day. I don't know a life without hearing a bunch of different accents and a bunch of different shit. I don't know that shit. From the time I came out of my mother's womb, I was hearing all these weird accents. But to get back to the point, you have to understand that mumble shit is cool. I could decipher it, but it takes fucking energy. Energy niggas don't have like that. All right? I ain't got time for that shit all the time. Okay? But to get back, I am on my point. It's not to get back. The bottom line is write your fucking lyrics, man. It's not hard. And another thought occurred to me. I saw an interview with DMX maybe like 2 years ago, because I really had to backlog or backtrack on DMX because I really didn't listen to that nigga. And I found an interview where he had like a suitcase and he had a big like legal folder of nothing but rhymes. And that's what that nigga did. This nigga collected rhymes, and how he was able to have 2, #1 rap albums in 1 year was due to him writing. Because I'll tell you right now, I've written rhymes since I was fucking 8 years old. So yeah, I probably got a stash somewhere. I know I got 2 notepads. I just write rhymes because I like to keep my mind sharp. And just to let you little niggas know, here we go. Here goes another thought that occurred to me. There's a book called A Nun Study. Go read that shit. It's a real quick read. It's interesting. And they found that the nuns who wrote in a journal and were able to express themselves lived long, or they lived a longer, more, or how can I put it? They lived a longer, healthier life, both physically and cognitively, because they were writing. That helps with the fucking brain, my nigga. So we need to stop with this whole you don't need to write lyrics and shit, because that shit is fucking stupid. I will admit to one thing and one thing alone. When you don't write down your lyrics, it gives you the opportunity to play with your flow and your cadence at your will. That's cool. I think that's good for a few songs. And I think that's, let's backtrack, or let's go in the past to Ray Charles. One of his most famous songs was just a freestyle. They put it in the movie. But well before the movie, us people who really listen to music and read about it, we knew that was a freestyle from Ray Charles. If everybody remembers the scene in the movie, is the one where he just went off the top of the head and they had to turn that shit like into a double CD or some shit, or whatever they did back in the days, It was longer than normal. So they had to, put it on one side and continue it on the other side of the vinyl record. That's cool for a few songs. But if you're talking about getting technical with it, really like masterful with it, you got to write your rhymes, dog. Or you could do like Jay-Z does. This is another thought that occurred to me. I was watching an interview with Just Blaze, and Just Blaze said that Jay-Z recorded the Blueprint over one weekend, right? And well, I think we all know this if you're into hip hop. And then he said that Jay-Z, it wasn't the Blueprint. It was for what album is the public service announcement? I think it's the Black Album. Yeah, the Black Album is a public service announcement. So excuse me. So nix or ignore, disregard the whole Blueprint over the weekend shit. So when he was recording the Black Album, he said that Just Blaze said that Jay-Z had a bunch of fucking interviews. And in between the interviews, he was recording the Black Album. And he said that Jay-Z would punch in before he went to one interview and then come back to the song and punch in. So what Jay-Z was doing was pretty much formulating the rhymes in his head and doing it bar by bar. Like, you could do 4 bars here, 8 bars here, maybe get in a 12 bar that's hot fire and shit. So even with Jay-Z promoting this whole not writing lyrics, this motherfucker is kind of writing lyrics because he's doing it piece by piece. But that whole shit where you do it from top to bottom and shit, that's bullshit, nigga. Get the fuck out of my face. You can't tell me that Jay-Z doesn't punch in. Even in the other interviews with Charlie Baltimore on the Art of Dialogue and shit, she mentioned, or the Art of Dialogue asked her, did Biggie really just rhyme off his head? Like, did he just write the lyrics in his head? And she told the truth. Like, yeah, he did it for the most part, but yeah, he did do punch-ins. And for people who don't know, I'm sure you know, because everybody is knowledgeable these days. I'm a dumb nigga from Brownsville. A punch-in is when, you say your rhyme like, I put the cat in hat and bat and that. You stop there. and then you come back and they play the recording and then they punch you in. They press that button and you're able to continue to rhyme. So from the Cat in the Hat, and then you start, I rap and tat. You know what I'm saying? It's like piecing it together. And with technology today, that's how all these little girls are rapping so much, because these little bitches couldn't really do what they're doing without technology. Most of these people couldn't do what they're doing without technology. The technology is a beautiful thing, but you could punch in and perfect a fucking song in a computer. That's how they stay on beat and shit. Because if they were in the time back in the days before we had all this technology, these bitches couldn't rhyme, dog, because what they're doing, it takes a lot of wingspan, mind control. It just takes some very serious skills and practice over years. But what these little bitches are doing is just coming in, punching in bar here, bar there, and then the motherfucker goes in Pro Tools and just lines everything up on beat and perfects it. That's the little studio magic they have now. You know what I'm saying? They've had that magic for years. You know what I'm saying? I think ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, was maybe like one of the first ones who really used that fucking tool. Because, you know, Pro Tools came out maybe in fucking what? I don't know when it came out, but I know when it became popular in hip hop. So that's probably like 99, 2000, maybe even 97, 98. We were introduced to it. So people like ODB could go in there and just say a bunch of dumb shit, and then the engineer can perfect it in Pro Tools. You know, because, you know, if you go listen to ODB, you hear that shit. And honestly, I wasn't a fan of ODB. That's another person I didn't really listen to like that. You know, I just revealed I didn't listen to DMX, so here's another one. I didn't really listen to him because I could hear what he was doing in his songs. You know what I'm saying? And the shit was just dumb shit. I like ODB. He was cool. He had a few songs I liked, especially Brooklyn Zoo. We all love that shit. You know what I'm saying? Shimmy Shimmy Y'all. Fucking, you know, his album, what is that shit with him and Raekwon? That song was good. Quite a few, but I'm going off course. But bottom line, let's get to the point, man. Get back to the point. Finally, you motherfuckers are coming out and telling the fucking truth. So now these little motherfuckers sit down and really make some good shit. Not sit up here and just go off the top of the head and shit. But that's it for today, man. I hope you enjoyed this shit. Thank you for everyone who watches my video. I don't give a fuck if one person watches this shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. One love.